on, guys? Welcome back. So for those of you guys who have been following along for a little while, you guys know exactly where we're at. We're down at Muldoon's Diesel, and you guys can see that we got the dually. You guys know that we're going to be adding compounds to this thing, so preventative maintenance. Nothing is currently wrong with our transmission, but we're going to be building the transmission in this truck to hold more power, to give us more reliability. There's a lot of quirks with these 68. This truck does have a 68 RFE. A lot of ins and outs, things that kind of go wrong. We'll get into that a little bit later, but just to kind of give you guys the intro of what we're doing for the next 2 days, we're probably going to break this down into a two-part, a lot of information, a lot of talking with some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, all the parts that we're going to be putting into this transmission. So that's where we're at. Give him a quick shot. Truck is up on the lift now. We got our man Mike helping us out. We're going to be pulling this transmission out. We just dropped the pan right now. Next up, drive shafts, cross member, stuff like that. And we'll get it pulled out, get it torn down today, go over the parts today, and then maybe tomorrow we'll get it, built back up, give you guys every step of the way so you guys can learn as much as possible. I've never taken one of these things out either, so that's the gist. Sit back, hang tight. So what we have here in the wild here, this is a shave edgy hand poking this valve body down here, because you guys know that we only look at these adapters. These are definitely up to spec. Is that good? Are those in Newton meters?
It's actually quarter torques.
Quarter torques?
Yeah.
Is that the same as horse torques?
Could be.
Okay, cool.
Mama power.
Only everything up to spec here at Muldoon's Diesel.
The only reason we did that is there were quite a few people that were overly critical about Abe's torque abilities on the last valve body.
It's okay.
So we torque them all now with this torque wrench and this step down.
Every single one.
Every single one?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Great. About these 68s, you want to tell everybody?
I'll tell everyone right now.
Line them up. 68s, come down, get them done.
The 68. Is it a transmission that will hold 700 horsepower? Yes. Is it a transmission that will hold 700 horsepower every day of the week? No. Not indefinite.
So your right foot controls a lot.
Your right foot controls how much, the weight of your foot controls the weight of your wallet.
Ooh, man, that's good. That's good. So a little bit of background on this truck as well. If you guys don't know, when I ordered this truck, it does have 410 gears in it, and we are running 35. So a lot of the trucks that come with 342s. Here, Shane, do you want to just take this back? I'm trying to hold this big camera. Guys, we are using some new camera gear. It is taking a little bit of a learning curve, so if the audio, stuff like that, we're going to get the hang of it. Don't worry. But anyway, what I was saying is a lot of these trucks come with 342 gears, and especially with big tires. A lot of transmission companies dealing with these 68s even tell you, if you're running, over a 35 or something with a 342, they don't even warranty them. So we went ahead and got this truck ordered with 410s to try and help a lot with some of those issues. So. Guys, transmission is officially out. Come here, take a look at this. Look at how the bottom of this pan Well, it's actually not the pan, it's the actual case. It's slanted in the back there. Not so weird looking. But here it is, 68 RFE. This is what it looks like out of the truck. So we're gonna wheel this baby over and start disassembly time now.
I think Abe's gonna handle the disassembly.
Oh, Abe's gonna handle this assembly. Yeah. Abe! Oh, Abe, sorry, guys. No, time to go to lunch. What we got going on here?
Alright,
Show
we're
us the
gonna
goods.
sweep left to right. So this goes into our 68 builds. Most of them. This
So
is
this
Greg's,
is everything's included in like
in our bigger build,
in
in
our
our 700 build.
bigger 68 build.
So we go through, we do a bearing kit, we do bushings, molded lip seals. We do a Rebestis GPZ module with a little bit of modification. We run an additional 2C clutches and some thin steels. We're working with Capital Core on that. They're providing us with parts. So we put 4 in there. We put a billet 2C bi-piston in the transmission to kind of help with any deflection. Usually you're relying on one of these chintzy molded lip seals, and this applies the 2C clutch pack much better, much more efficiently, and has a little bit, doesn't really deflect. This is for the 4Cs when you're running more pressure. You don't want the factory one to blow out. The factory one is a little stamped steel, pretty thin piece, and this is a nice billet piece from Suncoast. Obviously, gasket, seal, overhaul kit, everything's replaced throughout. We start with a new oil pump straight from Mopar, solely because I can't trust an oil pump that's been in a truck for a long time. What happens with the pumps are the bores start to wear out, and you start to get cross leaks, and you can have issues with line pressure or burning up overdrive clutches, or actually all kinds of terrible things can happen. So we kind of just hit the reset button with the oil pump and put a brand new one in from.
So there's nothing
Mopar.
to actually modify internally one of those for that not to happen long term, but it's just kind of like a longevity thing.
A longevity thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, some companies go in there and they put oversized valves in. They refinish them and they make them like new, which there's nothing really wrong with that.
So basically, new is the best option for that.
For us,
Yeah.
for the volume that we're doing with the 68s, I don't think it's really needed that we need to invest in all that tooling to remanufacture oil pumps.
Yeah.
We just get new ones from the dealer. A big component, this is part of the oil pump, this is the cover on the front of the Trans. A big thing with the 68s is your low sprag. This is the factory dog bone element style. You can see the elements inside here look like little dog bones. And when these are... Yeah, we'll go grab some pups from the SPCA. When these are subject to a lot of torque, they flip, and they stay that way permanently. And that's bad. And that the transmission doesn't run right after that occurs. So in order to avoid that from happening, we switched to a roller style element, which is much more robust, and it will not perform like, it will perform much better than this style sprag. So you don't have to worry about your sprag permanently flipping. So yeah, we put a roller style element in, and it's good to go. We reuse the outer race as long as it's in good shape. If not, we grab a new sprag off the shelf, so you get a new race every time. Another thing that happens is on the output assembly, the pinions for the planets actually can fall out. So what we do to address that is we just TIG weld them in place to make sure that that doesn't happen. So all the pinions on the output assembly get TIG welded.
These will literally just fall right out?
Well,
Or like the
typically
the
this
bushings?
won't this weld the pin.
Oh,
so
the
the center section that's welded.
Oh,
will
okay.
Just billet input shaft on this build. That's really, in my opinion, we talked about it.
You said stock trucks can even break inputs. Like input shafts on these things are not like they're not like a 48 where like if you're launching or whatever. Like this is kind of like almost necessary on even lower builds.
And a lot of it has to do with the transmission tuning and the lockup schedule.
Okay.
You know, early lockup is hard on shaft. Second gear lockup, I think Jonathan does third gear lockup.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think mine's in third gear locked up and up.
Which is much more ginger on the input shaft and less likely to break. But if, you know, we push a billet input shaft on any build. If you're getting our 500 horsepower build, we recommend it. Because there is a chance it's going to break, especially if you've got a hot rodded truck and a heavy foot and a VGT Cummins making all that boost down low. It can easily snap a stock input. It's an additional $540. So.
Yep.
But, you know, that's a lot of money.
You don't want to be stuck on the side of the road, though.
You don't. Is it worth? It's in the long run. It's worth it just to go with the billet input. But to remain competitive with all the other manufacturers on the market, we have to offer a transmission without a billet input shaft.
Right.
RevMax spin-on filter screw upgrade.
Zoom in on that.
There's the stock plastic one.
So from I guess what I've heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, I guess these will either break, or number two, you're so worried about them breaking you actually won't spin this filter on all the way tight. And I guess if that happens, I mean, don't you like...
You're rendering the filter useless, and the oil may not even be passed through the filter media, and then you're not really kind of...
So that's kind of like recipe to smoke a transmission.
Kind of like take the filter off. If it's not getting filtered...
Right.
That could happen. These are all hypotheticals. But this is...
So this steel piece replaces the plastic piece that, you know, that screws on.
This combats all the hypotheticals. You know, you can make your filter tight and this hypothetically can't crack.
Yep.
So it's cheap, it's insurance, and you can be assured. We put those in. Just kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Huge area where the 68 RFE is lacking is the underdrive overdrive drum. And there's a lot of ones out there in the market. We're most comfortable using a Sonax drum. That's what people have really had good success with, and I've done research, and it seems like this one is very well engineered, and it withstands.
So what happens on the stock one?
The clutches burn up and the drums crack.
The drums crack. So this prevents cracking.
Somewhat. I mean, you don't have the deflection from the stock drum, being that this is billet.
Oh,
this
okay.
Is billet.
Okay. Better material.
Better material. It stays true. You know, and obviously with a clutch pack, your number one concern is when you're clamping, to clamp flat and to clamp evenly.
So it's a lot of like non-billet surfaces that over, you know, apply and not apply, things are just warping and moving and causing tolerances to change drastically.
Yep, and especially when you're running elevated line pressure, 225 psi in overdrive.
Right.
Things are gonna deflect and move, and you're subject to burn up overdrive clutches. So this helps a lot in that area.
Gotcha.
It helps a lot. Obviously, for converter, we've got Suncoast and a Suncoast billet flex plate.
And it's triple disc?
Triple disc.
Suncoast triple disc?
Triple disc is on the 700 build. And
okay.
with the lower builds, it's an upgraded, from the factory they come with a dual disc.
Oh, okay.
Dual disc with a billet cover.
Okay.
So that's going to be one of the things that sets the 700 from the 500 apart.
Yep. And a billet flex plate.
Billet flex plate. We've seen stock trucks break
stock
flex
trucks
plates.
breaking flex plates.
So definitely have to address the flex plate issue.
SFI approved.
And if I'm not mistaken, Suncoast is now, there should be arrows on this somewhere. Yeah, right here.
Right here.
You start with 68. You start with this hole, and then it centers all the rest.
So you don't have to loosely put them in and
backtrack and
yeah,
you know, and go back and forth 500 times.
Is there anything you wanted to go over? These are all the stock parts.
Yeah,
So
It's all the stock
this is
stuff.
the drum you're talking about.
That's your overdrive drum.
This is the
Overdrive
drum that
underdrive.
we're replacing.
With the billet Sonax goodness, yes. Yep. The main thing is
Sweet.
getting in there and reclutching it with good clutches. The 68. 68's a little bit of a different animal because if you deviate from the factory clutch clearance a whole lot, your CVI values are all wonky and you get check engine lights and things like that.
Yeah.
So we can't change the architecture inside of the transmission a ton.
Because of the way the electronics communicate with everything.
The way everything is with this
Yeah.
modern style transmission. But what we can do is we can get good Rebestis GPZ clutches in there,
Yep.
and we can run higher line pressure with this build, and we'll go into the valve body tomorrow
Yep.
and discuss all of the factors about the valve body that allow us to run the higher line pressure.
Yep.
And cool. Basically rebuild that unit with the best parts and
Sweet.
run it down the road.
Cool. Last thing I want to mention to you guys, I'm going to walk over here and show you guys something on the truck. And again, I just want to reiterate the point that the build that we're doing on this truck, and John kind of mentioned it in the beginning of the video, the 68s, as far as like holding a lot of horsepower like 48s, they're not going to be they're not going to be doing it. We're not really building, like, even though we have a lot of billet parts, we have a billet input shaft. We're not going for like 800 horsepower. We're not going for anything crazy. We just want something that's going to be reliable. We're going to be doing a lot of racing, a lot of traveling this year, and we don't want to be stuck on the side of the road. So we're going to try and take care of some of these common problems that you would see, maybe not on lower mileage trucks like this, but once you get up into the higher miles and stuff like that, we're just going to kind of take care of it now. So the last piece that we're going to be adding is this RevMax, and this piece from RevMax. Look, try to talk here. So this is a valve that they put in the transmission lines here. This actually connects right down here on your transmission lines. And what this valve does, there's actually little valves inside of here. You can kind of see it. Kind of moves up and down with a little spring. When the climate is a little bit colder, to try and heat up the transmission fluid a little bit faster, they actually bypass your transmission cooler up in the front of the truck. This valve will close and it will not actually circulate fluid through the cooler. Only bad part is when this valve starts to stick, and actually when it does stick, these things are known for sticking, when it sticks, it stays in the bypass mode and you don't have any transmission cooling. So RevMax came out with this piece, fits exactly like the OEM one. What this does is allows constant flow through the transmission cooler, because if this sticks, it is going to cause your 68 to overheat all the time, and we don't want to deal with that either. Excuse me. So we're mostly using this in a warmer climate, and again, if you let your truck warm up, it's not really that big of a deal, but this piece will save us from any future overheating issues as well. So we're going to be using that. That basically goes right just like that on the transmission lines, like so. Nice shiny piece. And that's it, guys. That's pretty much all of the parts that we're going to be using. We're waiting for a couple parts in the washer to finish up, and we're pretty much ready to start assembly again. Alright guys, that is going to wrap up this first part of the two-part series, building the transmission in the truck. Make sure you guys come back for the next video. We're going to start rebuilding it now and get this thing back in the truck and test drive and all that other stuff. So that's going to be part 2, a lot of information, but something that I want to get out to you guys if you're interested in any of this 68 stuff. So make sure you guys hit the like button before you leave, subscribe if you have not already, and I'll see you guys soon. See ya.